Pollock, you were in the cave. You were not in the encounter, and
Great.
Thanks.
you now have tread through this central chamber here, where things are just eerily quiet. Well, there's the sound of water, but otherwise it's there's nothing. And then outside, you exit out this cave aside this spillway here, and you see your party. They seem to be talking amongst themselves here on this little beach here in this little secluded, almost like a cove with cliffs lining it. And somebody, I believe, picked up a pearl.
Cool. Okay, so have I been out of it?
Somewhat. I would not describe you as out of it at the moment.
Okay, great.
You're not the one that was out of it.
Okay. Then are we starting now?
We are in.
Great.
All right.
Then your characters would hear the sound of footsteps, kind of that spongy stepping into sand sound getting louder and louder with the flowing water in the background, and the reverberations of which in this cavern, this area, are just like amplifying it exponentially to the point where you might expect to turn around and see someone there, but it's actually just the reverberations until 10 minutes later when finally the figure appears, and it's Pollock.
I will say, back to the world of the living, I see.
He kind of frowns at you and almost speaks, but just and shakes his head.
I see.
Yeah.
You see Razvan is splayed out on the ground, sitting with his hands behind him, wiping blood that's leaking from his nose. He looks like he's gotten the hell beaten out of him. And he doesn't actually look up at you. He just seems to be clutching at his face and trying to smooth his hair down and get his composure.
Magos is leaning up against the rock with a smirk that could upset a blind man.
I will actually go over to Razvan, and I'm going to take out one of my vials. It actually only has water in it, but can I do like a check to like placebo effect to try and make him feel better? Say, here, drink this. It'll make you feel good.
So you extend a vial of some transparent fluid to your ally, Razvan.
I look at him, look at the vial. I just slowly shake my head and put it back in my hand. I'm like, where the fuck are we going from here?
Well, the oyster told us that we should just swim out, but I don't see that being viable with a shark. You want to continue?
The waters are rough, and indeed there is a predatory shark lurking about. Magos, I believe, however, observed something this way down one of the tunnels no one else ventured.
Which Magos brings up the point that perhaps we should scour the rest of the cavern. Who knows what could be lying beyond?
I start to get out of the sand and brush all of the sand off of the back of my pants and off of my front. And I say, then lead the way.
I will follow behind.
And Pollock nods his head in agreement and attempts to snatch the snake oil fluid, this clear liquid, out of your hands. Brice, what's your character's name? I'm sorry.
Alexander.
Alexander's hand, and uncorks it and swigs it and kind of looks a little confused but follows along.
Okay. Magos, you're leading the way?
I suppose.
All right.
I guess whatever we call the belt thing on a robe. He tightens it and proceeds to this end as he jumps over a small part of the river.
So you did notice that it was a little bit salty.
Nice.
The tunnel here proceeds for a ways, and you do hear the echoes of moving water, rough-sounding water. And you come to a point in the tunnel which it splits either way, left and right.
Care to go left?
Does anybody have a coin to flip?
I do.
Heads left, tails right.
I will flip this coin. Oh, wait, it's over here.
We're LARPing right now.
Anyone who looks would see Razvan had this small container. It's almost like a little pewter container, and he's unscrewing the top off of it and digging out some of this viscous-looking white stuff and smearing it on some of the places where he's bleeding.
That is not how you use
as
pomade.
you're walking.
Razvan tends to his wounds. The adventures thus far has been proving arduous for him. The coin toss came up heads or tails?
Came up heads.
That was to the right?
To the left.
To the left? Very well. Magos, you lead your comrades on to the left side of the splitting tunnel. You come to another chamber. The ceiling is filled with stalactites coming down. They are slick with rivulets of water dripping into a pool below. It looks to be a pretty deep pool. The water is clear, and by the light of your torches, lamps,
One of us has to have a torch or a lantern lit, I would assume.
anybody?
I used my last one up.
I have my lantern. I've had it the whole time.
Yeah, I thought Razvan had her lantern.
Yeah.
Razvan alone?
Sorry.
Yep.
You're the only one with light? Very well.
I guess so.
Okay, so Razvan, who's a few paces behind Magos, holding his lantern aloft, I would imagine, and you can see into this pool of water. The water is translucent. It's pretty deep. I'm not quite sure if you can see the bottom of it with just that lantern light. You were here previously, though, Magos.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I'm trying to play it cool and act like I've never been here before.
Okay, well, none of your comrades know that, but you do, and you saw before. I don't recall what your light source was at that time.
Just the torch, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yes, I believe I had lit a torch or something.
Okay, well, do you remember what you had seen in here?
Oh, I think I saw a rushing river that was kind of deep that I don't think we could easily traverse, if I remember correctly.
The other side, the other chamber, had the more violent waters.
Okay. Perhaps I should make an intelligence check to see if I remember.
I doubt it's been so soon. I doubt your character would have forgotten. Cody, if everyone else is okay with just playing it cool here, you remember peering into the water and seeing that it had a depth of at least a couple of full person heights, a little bit more actually, and you saw slowly crawling around at the bottom 2 giant crabs, and many of their young, some sort of spawning bed. Your light does not extend completely all the way to the far side of this chamber. Actually, there's someone with twilight eyes in the party, is there not? You can see to the far side of the chamber where there is another tunnel continuing on.
On the other side, guys, there's a tunnel.
There's also crabs in the water.
I see that.
Snap, snap. As Magos makes a crab gesture with his hands.
Well, it's our best option so far.
One of you has a bow, do you not?
I'm sorry, out of character. Could you repeat that?
Does one of you have a bow? Like a cross? I remember at least Razvan has
Yeah.
a crossbow.
Yeah, I have a bow.
For logistically speaking, I don't think I could burn crabs out of the water.
I don't think that would work either.
Nor am I good at skirmishing with these beasts in the water. So I would suggest that you try to shish kebab them with an arrow. Could be.
How deep did you say they were?
Actually, you can probably see it as well with your sight. The water's, you'd gauge it about 15 feet deep.
I don't think my
since
arrows
the-
would reach them.
Since the party seems pretty set on getting across this chamber, does anyone else have any other ideas other than attacking the beasts?
I don't know if this is another one of my crazy rock ideas. Rock on the arrow ideas, but could I tie a rope to it and or just tie a rope to another rock and or I could swim over there and we could have a rope going across so you wouldn't have to deal with the...
Perhaps Pollock should engage the crabs in a duel, and I slap him on the back.
Boom! You hear the sound of almost like a gong as his armor is just kind of punched
Wait,
in
is
the
there-
back.
It's like a ravine, right? Not...
Yes, the water under the
water's
under
not-
the surface, the
Oh,
ground
so
drops off, and the water
I'm
pool
sorry,
becomes pretty deep.
I completely misunderstood. I was assuming that it was just like a thing where you couldn't swim across. You would have to climb up and then climb down.
You tell me.
Nah. I'm
Build
good.
the world, Brice. Build the world.
New headphones, I'm trying to get used to them, I'm sorry.
So Alex surveys the pool with the crabs down at the bottom. He's not sure if swimming it is such a good idea, and he's not sure if brachiating across a field of stalactites is such a great idea either. Anybody else?
I nudge him forward. You can make it. Go.
I
It's
whisper to
It's totally
Razvan,
fine.
we could use Alexander as bait.
He's totally fine. Go. I believe in you. You've got this. You're very
Don't-
spry.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Do it. Do it.
Oh, Alexander, you need stories to tell to your children.
He is actually gay, so...
Go. It's okay. Go. Go. Remember, you owe me a favor from 2 years ago. Go.
I owe you no favors.
I'm losing my mind. Go.
Okay, so no one's quite sure what exactly to make of this at the moment. Do you want to
No,
try
I-
the other tunnel? Do you want to do something different?
This is the first one, right? The one on the left?
This is the one on the left.
Yeah, let's go over to the other side and see what we can find over there.
Very well. You backtrack and you take the right-hand passage this time. This takes you to another chamber, slightly larger than the last. The cave itself, again, is filled with water. It's another watery, flooded cave. The waters of this one, however, are violent, and they are thrashing, and there's it's almost like a drop-off into the waters. That's all that you can see. The twilight-eyed elf would put it at about 60 feet across this chamber, and again, a tunnel at the far side leading on.
Do we still have the what's his face in our heads?
You do not.
All right, then I was gonna ask him if there was another way around other than dealing with a shark.
Look, perhaps we
Okay,
should
so you sort of frame the question in your mind to see if there's a response. There's only silence.
Magos says we are at an impasse. Perhaps we should leave the cave altogether and...
Yeah, there's no way we're leaving.
Isn't that not what we are trying to do?
The entrance is kind of collapsed. I'm not sure if you remember that.
Oh, that's right. I was not there for that.
Let
You
us
are very
assume for a
fleet of
moment that there are, 4 of us. We could split off and find the best way. I will go with Razvan to the left, and you two will go to the right.
I don't think leaving me with him is a great idea, considering our past.
I'm already going to the left. I kind of pat Pollock on the shoulder. I'm like, fuck the crabs, come on. That sounds great to me. Good luck.
So,
Thanks.
Razvan and Pollock, you all head back to... You do head back to the chamber with the crabs?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, no long trek. You go back to the natural passageway and return back to the chamber. Magos and Alex, do either of you have some form of light?
No.
Your lantern is walking away.
Yeah, I know.
Really? Nobody?
I told you I don't have a light
Love it.
source.
Love everything about it.
So I'm gonna
Well,
go with them.
I guess you're coming with me then.
Yeah.
Okay, when I come to this room, I would like to get a better survey. Is there a particular place in which I think it would be easier to cross the water? Like anywhere that might be shorter or where the water doesn't seem as daunting at all?
I want to use the...
The water in this chamber is not rough. It's just a deep recess in the ground at its deepest point, about 15 feet, and the water is just drip, 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 just weeping off of this field of stalactites upon the ceiling. Your torch doesn't quite give you enough light to the other side. Well, you can't see the other side. Your torchlight, the field of illumination ends in shadow.
Question. Would it be possible for me to take my mage hand and hold it out over the... see if we can see anything?
Okay, so you didn't split up. You all just went there together?
I wouldn't be able to see otherwise.
Okay. Very well. Magos and Alex decide being left in pitch black cave is not such a great idea.
Oh.
You all stick together.
I think Cody DC'd.
Yeah, he's trying to reconnect.
Yeah, no worries.
Always with the problems we have.
Yes.
I feel this.
It wouldn't be an adventure without it, would it?
I feel this strange tug as I'm trying to hold on to my lantern.
No, I'm not going to just do that.
And
I will tell you.
I
hey,
look at him, and I just shake my head. I would like to walk out. You said that the water is kind of gradual, and then it has a steep fall off,
More or less.
where it gets very deep, and the stalactites are raining
you know,
down.
it's a natural formation, so there's no level or steady incline or anything.
I would like to just basically walk out to shin depth in the water, and kind
Water
of,
cold.
kind of try to keep my footing so that I don't fall off into the deep or anything. About how far across does it look like, or can I even see the other side?
Alex can see the other side. And
How far do you think it is?
he tells you, well, I'm not sure how accurate he is on measurements, but Alex, what you're seeing is about 50 feet across.
It's about 75 feet across. I'm really
This is
bad
a
at
long
measurements.
way.
I'm really bad at that kind of stuff. That's why I get in so much trouble with the law. My judgment isn't exactly fantastic.
All right,
So,
guys, the bad.
what's your idea? You sound like you had kind of an idea brewing there, Razvan.
I was basically going to hand someone the lantern and swim across, since I'm the only one willing.
Okay. Anyone want to hold that lantern?
I will.
Okay. Pollock takes it up. Make an athletics check.
Surely, this is going to end poorly.
Good luck.
I mean, he said they were giant crabs, right?
Two of them
Gotta
are,
swim fast,
are
then.
large. Yeah, they're like the size of people. And then their young are substantially smaller.
So you see me reach back, and I kind of pull my pack. I kind of pull my pack really tightly and kind of cinch it up, and I jump into the water and swim as fast as I can. That is a 17 plus 2 for a total of 19.
You swim with great fury until you reach the other side, no worse for wear.
I kind of scramble out and just kind of lurch forward, reaching for the wall. It's extremely dim on this side, and as soon as I grab onto something solid, I turn back and I say, "Hurry across!"
You hear the clanging of metals as Pollock begins removing his armor, and once it lays in a kind of a rusted, beaten heap from all the adventuring, he dives into the water and begins swimming across himself.
Very well. Head rolled up.
Okay. Esper, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's some sort of I'm getting some sort of like static
Heavy
feedback coming from your setup. Just every once in a while.
I'm not hearing it.
It's every like 15 seconds or so, I think.
Ongoing still?
Not currently,
No.
but every once in a while, it's almost like a dubstep song where it's like, and then and then it goes away for about 15 seconds, and then, not really, but yeah, sort of like that. I just got a 21.
Excellent. You as well swim with all of your might, and you tear through the water and end up on the stony far bank near the entryway to this next tunnel right beside your ally.
I kind of clap his hand as he's climbing out of the water and help pull him
Great.
up.
The only piece on me is my sword.
I will follow.
The crabs, how can I say this? You certainly have gotten their attention. They haven't made any substantial movements, at least not yet.
I will do that thing also, the whole swimming thing. Well, the fact that Pollock went across kind of ruins what I was going to suggest, but alright,
That's what I'm here for.
yeah, athletics check.
Absolutely.
Alright, that's something I'm okay with. That's a 15, so that's a 16.
Excellent. Success as well. We don't have Cody. Cody, where are you?
Automatic success.
Or failure, depending on what kind of DM it is.
Yeah, well, it actually might be failure. He's not answering. He's at the bottom of the water. The crabs.
Yeah, you see a Magos-shaped bubble struggling underneath the water. Oh, there he is. He is attempting to reconnect, so I suppose we'll give him a moment. Are you still hearing that feedback?
Oh, also, could I say something really quickly? Would it be possible for me to, mage hand my things above my head as I'm swimming across?
Okay, so you're, holding things out of the water while you're swimming?
So they don't get wet.
I don't see why not. The water's not rough.
Mage
I just-
hand is 5 pounds, right?
10.
Yeah.
10 pounds.
Almost the weight of a lantern that your friend handed.
Almost
you.
precisely the weight of a lantern.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do that for you. Sorry. But yeah, I
So what did you bring over?
my entire bag, but anything that was too heavy to keep in there, I just had some things in there that I didn't want to get wet. So anything that I couldn't carry, I carried by hand.
Okay, I think I get the idea.
Hey, Esper?
Cody, are you with us?
And I just thought of the smarter way to do it, but never mind. I said it, so it's done.
Roll athletics.
Cody? Well, I see his icon there.
Yeah. And I just told him to roll athletics in the. Maybe he'll just
We can play my post. That'll work.
Yeah, he'll just play vicariously through me or us.
We'll take turns.
I'll roll for him. He got a 2.
That's good.
No, please don't. Please
No,
don't
that's
let me roll
what
for him.
Hey, man.
Please no.
He got a
Please no.
16. He got a 16.
Oh my goodness. All right, so the entire party has swam across the stalactite chamber here, and the toes and feet are all there, and no one's got any digits pinched off. You each gain 50 experience points.
Cool.
That was quite the task.
It really turned out to be, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so continue on the tunnel.
Great.
Yes? Okay. The party continues forth. Again, a split left and right.
Coin?
I
Don't
go
wanna
left.
do a coin?
Before he flips it, can Pollock kind of like, I don't know, standing in the entrance and just kind of feeling the different tunnels, get a feel of like, are they different in any way?
There's a
Make a
demon.
perception check.
What's that?
Make a perception check.
I will do that. I got a 14.
Nothing that you can tell.
Okay. What did the coin say?
The coin said tails, so right.
To the right. They chose to the right. The tunnel continues on for just a small stretch until you come to yet another cavernous chamber. This one is the largest of the three that you have seen in this area. The room is... it's not as low down. The tunnel slightly raised in elevation, almost a very gradual, irregular incline. And this room here, while damp, is definitely not flooded out like the last two. But it is quite damp, and there are puddles here and there, and it's crusted over with different types of sea lichen. Additionally, you see rubble, old busted, rotted crates. You see a skeleton strewn about. There are bits and pieces of junk, and there are crabs, regular crabs, kind of skittering about as you all enter, and the lantern light hits the chamber. And it smells really funky in here.
I take it everything is putrid and wet, correct?
It is.
I'm sorry?
Funky like a fish market, like a
Fishy, moldering. There are certain sea-type scents in here as well, some of them not so pleasant. The skeleton looks like it's pretty well just picked down to bones. You don't actually see any kind of rotted flesh. There's also an old rusted chandelier that's just sitting there in the middle of the chamber, just rusted, kind of busted, laying there on the floor.
What do you think this place
chandelier?
used to be?
A little ways into the room, just looking here, but you see on the right, along the right-hand wall, there is an entryway to a tunnel.
This is the biggest goddamn cave I have ever seen in my life.
It's quite large.
I keep going.
Yeah, let's continue. You don't have the thing anymore. I think Pollock has it now. So let's let him lead.
Pollock?
Okay. Sure, sounds great.
You would rob me of my own lantern?
You never asked for it back.
Okay, Pollock, you step ahead. What are you doing?
I am trying to kind of gaze around the room for any movement, watching the reflections of the light as it kind of bounces off of, the assorted things in the room. I'm going to make my way toward the chandelier, and I'm going to kind of be looking at the ceiling a little bit as I'm doing so, trying to see where it came from.
Okay, so you do that. You see on the ceiling, directly above this chandelier, as it were, is just a really crude, old, rusted, what are those called? Not a hook, but the little, well, we'll just call it a hook. It's something that got driven into the ceiling. There are some bits of rope, but they're, they've you can tell the rope's been sitting here for a while, and it's all wet and just kind of degraded. The chandelier itself is roughly circular in shape, and it's a super basic chandelier, completely rusted out. There are bits of old parts of melted wax still clinging to it, and the rope you can see is broken. And it's like it's in two. Like part of it's still tethered to the chandelier, and part of it's just this longer section just snaking along the floor.
Okay. Then I would look to the skeleton, which is nearby, correct? And I would ask any one of my comrades. It has obviously been a while since this person met his or her misfortune, but are any of you skilled enough to see how they met it indeed?
Medicine check?
Well, hold your medicine check. You can make it, but let me at least describe what you see.
All right.
The skeleton is really, it is like half seated, half lying on its back, lying upon some of this rubble, or maybe not rubble, but just like a barrel and maybe some old
Refuse?
rolled up parts of cloth, but it's all just old and moldering, and everything has like these lichens all over it. And his clothing as well is just absolutely in wet, stringy strands. He has part of a hat tilted on his head, some kind of woolen cap, but it's all degraded. You see just some frayed strands of bearding and hair off of the picked clean skull, his teeth just grinning out at you, and his hands rest on his right leg, and you see there is a crossbow quarrel right through his leg bone.
He took an arrow to the knee.
Not the knee, but it is the leg bone.
Ah.
And there are assorted barrels and crates and junk just kind of sitting there in forlorn in forlorn decay.
Medicine check. 18.
You're pretty sure he died of a crossbow shot to the leg. It could have been a sudden brain aneurysm, though.
Yeah.
Heart attack from a crossbow to the leg.
It could have been a sudden brain aneurysm.
Well, what I was thinking was that the hat might have been a brain sucker.
While they are inspecting the skeleton, I would like to look around the room, not too far away because there's not a lot of light. But fingers crossed, hoping beyond hope, I want to find anything that might be dry at all.
Okay.
Piece of cloth, piece of wood, anything like that.
Sure. Go ahead and make a perception check.
I would love to. That is a flat 20.
You do find some dry things. There's not a lot, but there are bits here, and part of that rope, or a bit of some cloth, and there's surely some kind of old planks of wood. They don't happen to be sitting in a particularly damp spot.
I notice him looking for stuff, and I ask him, "What are you looking for?"
I'm making you a torch.
I hand him some.
What did he
paper.
die from?
I hand him some paper from my backpack.
As I'm wrapping cloth around this piece of wood that I found, and I'm pulling out this small flask of oil that I've had for my lantern, kind of soaking the cloth.
Magos
Sure.
stops you and says,
What?
What?
No, that's what he said.
Sudden brain aneurysm.
What did you say, Cody? We heard Mago says, and then
And I'm like, "It's the cave!"
I'm very confused.
all we heard was Magos turns to you and says, and that was it.
Oh, I turn to him and I say, allow me. And I snap my fingers and a little flame flickers in my hand and lights the torch plane.
Real quick, Razvan, make an intelligence check.
Surely. That is not so great. That's only a 12.
You drop the bits in your hand as it springs into flame. The unfortunately poorly constructed torch just kind of falls to the ground. You do that to keep your hand from catching on fire. So you have some kind of candle that's going to be burning in this room for a short amount of time.
I say, fuck! Kind of knock some of the little bit of hot soot off of my hand.
Margo says, "Ooh, sorry, it doesn't work all the time. I thought I would try it, though."
With another butterfly. And I kind of kneel down. I'll take this tiny little fire to try and dry out the wick of my candles then. Just something to give us some emergency light later on while they're messing around with the skeleton.
Okay, so you're doing that.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Pollock, are you continuing to do your own inspection, or are you curious about something?
I would just try to keep positioning myself in a place where everyone else can see what they need to see or what they want to see, kind of in a central location with the lantern.
Okay. Does anyone else have any interests here?
I don't know where I am or what's going on.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. That's true.
Just give me a brief update.
Sure. So you crossed that large pool stalactite cave, went through the tunnel on the other side. Again, there was a right and left split off. The party took the right-hand passage, ended up in a pretty large cavernous chamber. This one's wet, but it's not flooded. It's filled with, it's like crusty and lichens, and there's crabs skittering about the floor. There's a pile of moldering refuse and busted barrels and crates. There's a fallen, rusted chandelier in the middle of the floor. There is a skeleton, a dead man who's reclining against the heap, and he has a crossbow quarrel straight through his leg bone.
I think that's what killed him.
Alex is working on this hypothesis, and he thinks that might have killed him.
Magos, being the great sleuth that he is, approaches the dead man and begins to inspect him with an investigation check.
Excellent.
And that's going to be a 19.
The most interesting thing, or the only thing of interest that you are able to locate on the person, on the corpse, is a key, a rather large key. It's the size of like a thumb, it's the size of a large finger.
Look what I found, gentlemen.
Have you seen any doors here?
No, not to my knowledge. Have either any of you?
Any chests or anything?
No.
I'll let that, if you want to continue searching Magos, I'll just kind of let that roll, and you can just continue with that, investigating throughout the heap there.
I was gonna check out the chandelier actually, see if I could not find anything interesting on it, or maybe find something interesting on it, but find out something about it. Why is there a chandelier in this cave? Like, what kind of make is it, I guess? Would that be investigation?
The Steinway.
Huh?
It's a Steinway chandelier. Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check.
That great Palagosian chandelier company. that we all know
No,
about.
that's not. You're trying to make me sound stupid, and I don't appreciate it.
I'm just joking, man.
I can make myself sound stupid, which apparently I'm about to do because I rolled a 14.
Okay. As far as you can tell, it just was here for illumination. It's really not an exquisite chandelier. There's no glass, no crystal. It's just a basic rusted metal band in a loop with candle, holsters for candles. And indeed, it looks like it got quite a bit of usage.
Well, you're talking about the type of chandelier that hangs from the ceiling, not a candelabra, right? All right.
Yes.
All right. Good. All right. Got it.
Otherwise, nothing really strikes you as noteworthy about it.
All right.
Anyone else doing anything here?
You're muted.
I wasn't saying anything. I was just shaking my head.
Oh, it looked like you moved your mouth. I'm sorry.
I might have, but I wasn't talking. I do that sometimes.
Oh, as well, Cody, there is another tunnel on the right-hand side of this chamber.
Oh, well, maybe there's a door in there. I would like to ask if everybody's done searching or doing their thing, and if we could go in there and see if there's maybe a door or at least a chest.
There might be one at that other path that we passed also.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe some food. Those crabs in the previous room are looking a little bit more friendly as we speak.
True.
I kind of stamp
It's all
out
about
this. I kind of stamp out this little makeshift fire I had going on, and I'm like, I would really like to get out of this cave. Can we please go? Can we please go?
Oh yeah, you got pretty messed up at the fight, didn't you?
There is literally blood trickling out of my nose.
Yeah.
And you've had some unsettling experiences with caves recently.
Quite.
I don't know if unsettling is the word I'd use for it. More like fucked up.
Indeed.
I gained a fear of
Harrowing
frogs.
terrors in the depths of the earth's belly. So does the party want to try to get out of here?
Yeah, let's just head on. I'm going to suggest that we just head on through this way.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Seems the quickest route.
You walk through the opening to the passage.
I motion for Pollock to do that.
Pollock, the lantern bearer, who is of utmost importance in this trek. You go down about the straightest section of tunnel you've seen yet, and you end up on the other side of the cavern you'd seen before with the rushing waters.
Okay, so... Wait, I'm thinking. Okay, I'm trying to... Can I see the map again?
To describe it as you're in your head, you'd almost see it like you've gone into a loop.
I see. Okay, great.
But as I think Alex was pointing out, there is that other passageway if you just backtrack a bit where you'd taken right instead of left.
Okay.
Do you all care to do that? Because it seems like the only thing that we can do now.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Okay, so actually we'll move this ahead. That passageway does eventually take you out of this cave, and there is much rejoicing, I'm sure, on part of Razvan.
Great.
Woo!
Yes.
And
I want to hear that rejoicing, Razvan.
Razvan, as soon as we actually get out of the yawning portal of this cave, he kind of slumps down a little bit and sits on the grass and just looks around. And all of you kind of stop and you look at him like he's lost his mind. But he just kind of laughs a little bit to himself and takes this long ponytail he always keeps in front of his shoulder, and he swaps shoulders with it and like gets himself kind of ready and centered for a second. Gets up, wipes the blood from his nose, and he says, we need to continue. We need to go. Let's finish this shit and get out of this place.
I concur.
Can't argue with that.
Well,
so you've exited the cave. It's not quite what you would call a mouth of a cave, perhaps an anus. And it's just this little, you really have to kind of crouch down and squeeze to get out, just this little passageway.
come on.
And
now,
you,
gentlemen.
and you end up here at the kind of bottom of this peninsula.
Oh, I guess you didn't
Like-
mean to make that pun.
I would very much like to keep a weathered eye and ear for perhaps a giant that might smash us with a rock. Is that at all possible?
That's a good.
So, yeah, you remain wary for this this rock lobbing giant wherever he might be. So you are on the back side of this cave, this large rocky hillock, which the cave is inside of and underneath. And so you had entered on the complete opposite side. Can you guys see this little arrow here, my little pointer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I know this is all representational here, and it's not to be taken strictly literal, but you're about like here, whereas you had entered up here.
Should we head back towards the?
What time of day is it?
It is afternoon.
Good, thank God. It's like, please don't say it's dark.
Do you want to try and make it as far or as close to the tree as we can, and then set up camp along the ocean?
Magos is feeling a little dangerous, and he would like to kind of go around the rest of the perimeter of this area that we haven't checked out yet. I think Magos' wanderlust is starting to get the better of him.
Pollock is wringing out his clothes, and the cavern water is kind of just falling onto the ground beneath him at his feet, and he looks to Magos and says, "Are you thinking what I am thinking? Shall we continue?"
Oh, of course, of course.
Quick question, Pollock. What did you do with your armor?
It's in the cave.
Okay. So, sounds like Razvan wants to rest, Pollock and Magos want to explore. Alex?
I want to explore also then, I guess.
Okay, Razvan, do you want to rest up here in the cave while your allies explore, or are you going to just try to tough it out and go with them?
I'm perfectly fine with finding a little nook and or cranny and hiding myself in it. Not only because I would like to rest, but because I want to keep, like an eye out so that I can warn them if I see the giant from my area.
Okay.
I'll be like, you go. I'll be sure nothing sneaks up on you.
You'll be asleep when we get back, won't you?
Possibly.
All
Very
right,
well,
so
you've earned your rest.
Razvan posts up, and the other three continue on this way?
Yes, around the
Yes.
perimeter, yes.
Okay. Other than the sound of the tide crashing down below at the bottom of the cliffs and various seagulls, There's nothing else to be heard. And you enter back into that still and all oppressive misty field.
Magos would like to ask Pollock, you are a blacksmith, are you not?
I am.
May I see one of your weapons or pieces of work?
He holds up the only weapon he actually has, because he's kind of walking around in just basic clothes at this point. And it's a sword. And the hilt around it is kind of a purple band that you've seen on his wrist, but it's actually kind of bound around this cross guard. And I don't know, pick an animal really quick.
Boar.
The cross guard is actually made of boar tusks that have kind of been fused into this hilt, and the blade itself extends like thick. It's like very thick, and then it just at one point just drops off and goes thin for the rest of the way. Maybe the thick part, the wide part, of the blade probably extends for 2 feet, and then the rest of the blade is just kind of.
Are you still there?
Oh, he cut out.
we have another frozen player.
He got so into his role playing that he went into he's in Novara right now. Marker has left us.
Did he have a thunderstorm come in at the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, another
There we go.
sneak attack thunderstorm.
Oh shit.
Hello.
That was
Guys.
funny. Hey,
Oh
we can,
shit.
I can hear.
Okay, so I thought you cut out because I was like describing this sword like to the T, and I don't know what you heard and what you didn't hear, but I thought you were the one that cut out, and I was like, oh, did I shock you there, Cody? Like, was it just so amazing that you cut? And then I looked and nobody was moving.
Yeah, well, just to let you know about where you got in describing it, you were about right here.
Yeah, right here. I don't know what that
the
means.
The sword's not a gentle tapering blade. It's an extreme blade going from thick to narrow.
Yes, exactly.
And I think it's a longer sword than your average Palagosian sword, which is probably equivalent to a gladius or a short sword.
Yes, and you might have actually seen some of these, the local, the nearest powers that be, the Royal Guard, some of these swords actually, you've probably seen some of those swords in the hands of the guard.
Well, Magos looks quite surprised, and he says, "This is a work of art."
You see Pollock's face blush a little bit.
Magos says, "You will have many. You will never be hungry again. I'm sure my father could use you in his employ."
Oh, well, the compliment is well received. Thank you. I look forward to possibly meeting your father someday.
That is, if all of us get out of here alive.
That is, if all of us get out of here alive.
I kind of give a shrug to Alexander as if I was joking.
Alex is just reading a book.
What are you reading, Alex?
As silly as it sounds, I am reading a a book on the Forlorn language.
That's a bit strange considering you're an elf, but I take it you were not raised by the people of Two Rivers.
No, but I've always been interested in the language.
I could help you learn.
I appreciate it.
I will
As you get closer to him, you might notice on his hand he does have a symbol, which looks like this.
Oh,
It's burnt in there.
I'm just gonna make a quick intelligence check if I know what that might be, and that's 24.
You get the strange feeling that he might have put that there just because he thinks it looks cool.
Mago says, I don't know what that is. He's probably just weird. But I don't say that, but that's just what I'm thinking.
To the layman, the arcane brand on your hand would probably be some mystic symbol that signified
It's actually what he
powers.
uses.
Yeah,
It's what he
powers
uses.
and abilities.
It's what he uses for using Mage Hand.
Oh, it is? Okay, it is connected with that. Interesting.
Excellent.
It's the symbol that he kind of calls to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Interesting
it's something,
indeed.
It's something that he found while reading books.
Mago says a common phrase in Forelands that he probably should understand. Probably is whatever, learning or knowledge is the key to power in Forelands.
How about something
right.
how about something very simple like good day?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to roll to see if I understand. Oh, and I roll a 2.
Oh.
All right, Mago says, "Bino jornada," and you're like,
What did you call my mother?
I didn't call your mother anything. I said good day. Your Forelands is bad.
Very well. Let us continue on.
So yeah, you all are chatting and speaking of these things as you travel. The afternoon is getting later. You cross by another beach here, another sandy beach area, cove, and then the ground, the elevation becomes a bit higher and rockier again, and it goes back to the typical cliffs that you've been seeing. So you get to about here, and the afternoon is starting to transition into evening. So if you turn back now, you'll make it back to the cave with just a little bit of time before nightfall, you would gauge, where you can continue on, and yeah, or you can continue on.
I don't feel comfortable leaving Razvan there at night.
Okay. I'd make a suggestion that could be mutually beneficial, but this could be dangerous.
And what is it?
How about you go back with Razvan and make sure he's all right, and me and Pollock will continue on. It is brash, but we need to scour this land as much as we can. Too many secrets remain unanswered.
I hesitate to do that, mostly because... And he trails off and he says, very well, I'll head back.
Mago says in Forelands a quick, maybe like a blessing or something, like a, God's protect you type thing.
And I rolled a 22, so yeah, I got that. And I say thank you.
Alex, you begin the trek back, crossing along the coastline as you go, until you make it back to the sea cave with about one hand before dusk. Razvan, while you were there, you didn't see any sign of danger, luckily.
Now, I would like to have my own Magos experience here. When I see that they're gone far enough away, this has been far more trouble than I thought it would be with this whole trek and journey. And I'm starting to get this feeling that I might not be able to actually do this. And I would like to, if nothing arises, go to the cave that had the feast and the treasure and the lady. I know that these guys don't want to go back there. I know that if I leave now, they may never find me again, but I'm at this moment where I feel almost completely lost. And Razvan would kind of look at the area that they disappear into the mist, and he would turn and he would look at where this cave was that had all these gold coins and this gem that promised to serve him and all of these things that before he didn't think that he needed. And he would kind of weigh those two options, and I rolled, and it actually told me that I would probably go to this cave and try to find, a couple pockets full of this gold as a last recourse. Does anything stop me on my way there?
All right, so you have this moment in your epiphany, as it is. You begin the trek. Are you skirting along the coastline or doing a straight line, like cutting across the field?
In the mindset that he has, he would just cut straight across. Like, maybe I can get there and come back before they even know.
Okay. You walk through the field. It's a pretty smooth trek for you here. The ground is not bad. It's not too rough. There's scrubby patches and rocky patches and little grassy bits, and here and there a small thicket, maybe a creek, but it's a pretty easy walk, and you find your way back to this other cave that you'd been to before. Some strange force drawing you back.
My mouth almost completely dry, and I keep smacking my lips, trying to work up any saliva. And I have this feeling in the back of my head, like fingers working over my brain. And I go into the cave kind of unceremoniously, very quickly, like I'm late for an appointment. I just go in and I turn left and I go to this treasure room and I kind of fall to my hands and knees and start scooping around in the gold, where I remember Magos throwing this sapphire, I believe it was. And I push all the gold out of the way until I finally try to find it. Would you like me to roll for that, or would you like me to just find it?
You'll find it. With a bit of searching, you'll come upon the sapphire there in this glittering trove of coins and jewelry, and you pick up the blue sapphire. Very, very reflective. You can almost see your own reflection in one of the facets of this cut gem, and there is a slight chill that runs through you, and a voice in your mind: I shall serve you.
And having experienced this already with the giant oyster, I would try to say back to it less clumsily than before, do you promise? And then I'd kind of just look at it and I'd be like, of course you do. Of course you will. And then I pocket it and I just grab like a big scoop of gold and shove it in my pack. And I'd kind of look around.
Someone had taken some gold from this trove here before. Was that you?
Alexander.
It was Alexander? Okay.
I didn't.
You did not?
I had decided to put it back.
Okay.
I remember you scooped it up. I thought you took it, but probably not.
No, I scooped it up and there was the gem inside of it.
Okay. So you pocket the sapphire, and then you also you're like scooping as much as you can carry, or how much are you taking?
One like handful.
Okay,
and
you take a handful of
I
coins.
kind of look at it, and I mainly came back for this sapphire that promised me power, seeing how frail and just useless I was in the face of this other monstrosity that battered me around so easily. I just think that this may be the thing that helps me reach my goal and my destiny.
Okay.
And I look at this gold and I'm like, what? Why am I looking for this other treasure? Why do I even bother? All of this is here. And yeah, I pocket it.
Okay. So you're pretty taken by this treasure trove, it sounds like, and you're spending a little bit of time there. The sunlight is definitely fading by this point. Alexander, when you arrive back at the sea cave, Razvan is nowhere to be found. Maybe he went back inside the cave. Maybe he took a walk off somewhere other. You don't see him.
I huff to myself and I say, "Great, honor amongst thieves." And I sit down and I rest.
Okay. Magos and Pollock. Which direction are you two heading?
Southward, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Southward along the coastline.
Yes, sir.
Taking in that nice coastal air, that breeze.
Yes, there is a cool sea breeze blowing in over the cliffs here. So it stretches on, and night is descending. Darkness begins blanketing the land. The fog remains, yes, but night comes. It's the sky it's patchy. You know, there's some sections of cloud, and there's other sections where you see glittering arrays of stars, and the moon, which is entering into its full stage. Are you resting? Are you continuing on by night?
Well, Pollock, it appears the sun has left us.
It is probably a good idea to get a little rest, unless you think we should head back. Though I'm pretty sure our companions can hold their own. I mean, what's the worst that could possibly happen?
Oh, no, of course. I have great confidence in them. I'd like to tell you a secret. They were fighting a giant sentient clam, and I was scouring the cave invisible.
Interesting that you have this ability. Tell me more.
I just was scouring the cave for exits or treasure or anything, but I didn't find anything. But they managed to hold their own, so I'm just trying to illustrate that point. That'll be fine.
Understood. It wasn't much of a secret. I was hoping you'd find some treasure or something.
Oh no, just the key. I have nothing to hide. I need no wealth. I am a noble. But
Okay.
maybe we should rest.
So everyone in their various locations takes their rest, falls into the arms of slumber. The night passes without incident, and you all can gain the benefits of the short rest. Spend hit dice if you'd like. Just let me know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend 1 hit dice.
Mhm.
That's the dice plus Constitution, correct?
Correct.
I have 18 hit points out of 21. Should I spend the hit die?
I will let you know what I get whenever there's a time that you want to hear it. But
Yeah,
it's not
go ahead.
good. It's not good.
I expend all of my hit die and am still really hurt.
Oh wait, no, I have 1 Constitution, so that's 9. So
Well, that doesn't
I'm
sound so
better.
bad at all.
No, I thought I was more hurt than I was because of what Michael said up at the top, but then I remembered. Oh yeah, it was just him.
Who's Michael?
Oh,
I've never
sorry.
heard of this Michael.
Sorry, Razvan.
Oh, there's a Michael. Sorry. I thought you were talking to me because we're friends on Facebook. I get paranoid about this shit, man. Okay, continue.
He's Michael Barker. He's Michael.
There are
Lewis.
too many Michaels.
Yeah.
JB, 2 letters. Oh yeah.
I'm
Drop
sorry.
the die at YouTube.
Great way to.
All right. So it sounds like everyone's rested up and are preparing themselves for the next day. Why don't we just continue with Pollock and Magos so we can keep moving things along here, and then we'll get back to Razvan and Alex after that.
Excellent.
Okay.
Along the beautiful coast.
Yes, you continue along the coast.
Wow.
Oh my lord.
Long way.
We done went far.
That one looks ominous.
Okay. So you travel on and on and on throughout this next day, eventually the ground gives way once again to another sandy cove, and you come to another sea cave.
Dear Pollock, we have been traveling for all day, and I see a sea cave in the middle of nowhere. Oh, I wonder what we should do.
Well, I suppose we should do the smart thing and go inside.
You are exactly right. With my brains and your brawn, nothing can stop us. Hopefully our companions will survive as well.
You all enter the cave to find that it is rather smaller than the other two that you had been in previously. It has an initial chamber, and then a smaller sub-chamber that's kind of flooded out behind that. There are some bats that dwell here within this cave, and there are patches of guano spattered about the rocky floor in the first chamber. Otherwise, you find nothing.
I'm back.
Razvan, you awaken the next morning.
I'm nestled in a pile of gold like a
Yeah.
human dragon.
You awaken to your glittering trove, alone. I'm still a bit weary.
Okay, so I would kind of sit up and, rub the sleep out of my eyes and think about this all again, looking around, seeing all the gold. I'm not 2 steps away from death today, and I kind of reach into that little pouch and I look at the sapphire again. And then I think about these guys that have risked their lives kind of at my behest. And I put the sapphire back, and I look around, I get up, and I try to head outside.
Okay. You put the sapphire back in your pocket?
In my pocket. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
You exit the cave then,
Mhm.
and when you step out of the mouth, you have just a moment where this feeling of a dream coming back to you just a little bit, and it's very hazy, but you just remember feelings and vague images of walking around this cave in your sleep, holding this conversation with someone who is in there, and then it's gone. Which way are you heading?
I would I would do this long stare at the ground like I'm trying to remember something. And when it finally slips away, like when you're trying to remember a dream, right when you wake up, I would kind of snap back to again, and I would try to look around, see where the sun is, get my bearings, and I would try to go south-ish. And what I would like to do is, well, I've been having terrible luck trying to start fires and burn things, so I probably won't do that. I would just head back toward the cave I promised to meet these guys at, realizing that I had spent the entire night in this cave when I did not mean to, and time had slipped away from me. And to myself, I would go, oh, fuck. I hope they haven't gotten themselves killed.
You hope not. You walk back across the field to the sea cave where you find Alex, who is doing
Reading.
what?
Just reading.
Who is reading?
Just reading.
All right, well, you guys, do you see each other?
I jokingly say, You find your treasure?
And I would stand completely still, and my face would just kind of droop for a second. No.
You're acting a little funny, bud. You all right?
The other
Where
two,
were you? Where'd you
where are
go?
they? What the fuck does it matter to you?
I wasn't trying to pry. I was just...
It's fine. It's fine.
You
It's
said
early.
You said you were going
I
to be
need
here.
breakfast.
It's not early. It's about afternoon.
So it is. Where are they?
They headed on down the coast. They said that I should come and meet up with you just to make sure that you were safe because, you were pretty fucked up. You all right?
I walk over to Alex and I kind of sit down next to him. I crouch with my my elbows on my knees and kind of fall back on the ground next to where he is. And I would just say, it's been so long. My entire life. I feel like I've had to fight for every single thing I've ever wanted. And it seems it's only gotten harder since I've come to Palagos. I want one thing to go my way. I am not even doing this for a selfish reason. And still, it's nearly cost me my life. It's nearly cost you 3 your lives. And I just kind of shake my head and look at the ground for a minute.
I will stand up and hold out my hand as if saying, come on, let's go. And I will say, we're friends. It's what we do. And right now we should probably go help our other friends because they're on their own also.
Yes. And I kind of grab his hand and I'd say, yes, again. Stand up and I'd be like, I wonder where the fuck they've ended up. Let's go.
Well, assuming they were continuing along the same way that they were, I'm guessing that they're going straight south along the border, so...
As we
tracks.
kind of walk along the coast and the camera pans back and we start to head over a hill,
Plays
say-
the whole ending music.
I say, do you want to bet they're in a fucking cave?
I hope not.
Camera pans to a cave.
So we step into the cave.
Well, perhaps the scene now is of Magos and Pollock walking out of a cave. Perhaps some guano speckling their shoes.
Oh, this shit is disgusting.
Okay.
There was nothing in there. I mean, that could be a good thing, but there was no adventure, there was no treasure, there was no strange, freakish sights.
Now, assuming all along this trip I've recounted to Pollock, I've gloated about all my adventures as a noble and all my sexual perversions and encounters and things like that, and I'm sure that he's given me a small taste of the lowborn life and all these things, but no matter.
Extremely small.
Yes.
Extremely small taste.
Yes. Pollock, so what do we do now? I'd still like to keep adventuring into places we have not been.
But to be honest, I think we should probably head back north. I think it's been over a day since we left, and we don't want to stray too far. We've come this far south, and we've not found anything of note. Perhaps if we find the others, we can journey inland, but I would not want to do that without the full group.
That's a good point. I'm hoping that perhaps they'll try to find us as well. Maybe they're taking the coast as we had instructed.
Okay, so the party is in two parts, one heading north, one heading south. So you all meet about here along the coastline, just with a little time before the sun sets, and you see the two pairs. You each see each other approaching from opposite sides.
Magos embraces them and says, maybe the gods are real.
Sorry, what?
I said maybe the gods are real. Sorry, it's hard to do a Palagosian accent and sound. You can understand me.
No, you're just really compressed right now. Could you the last part?
Sounds fine to me.
I said maybe the gods are real.
Oh, okay. Let's just go on.
I kind of I seem a little different than the previous day. You can't really put your finger on it, but this is the first time I've actually slept in 3 days. So Razvan would be more about himself, and he would kind of clap you on the shoulder after you embrace him and say, I'm glad that we found you without a rock over your bodies. I had feared that the giant may have smashed you in the night.
You and your giants, Razvan.
Ah, Pollock, I forgot. Maybe you don't remember. One chased us into the cave and nearly crushed us to death.
Is that something that Pollock would remember?
I'm sure he would.
I would say I didn't know how much of it is like. Okay. He says, of course I remember it, but not everything is a giant. You know, there are many, many dangerous creatures out there.
I look at their shoes and I say, like bats.
In fact, precisely like bats. My companion here, and he pats you on the back, we just got done fighting 4 giant bats. Slew them all.
4.
4.
Oh.
You seem to have gotten off pretty scotch-free. And
Well,
I noticed you're not even wearing your armor. Man.
I'm a swordsman, not a... and he kind of pauses and realizes
Armorman.
No real word for armor man. But he
Armorer.
but he shows his shoes and he says, "We did not get off scot-free. Look," and he shows just the disgusting caked guano that's still there even after miles of trekking.
Oh, those Nectarium, they were very fierce. But
I would kind of do the Jewish thing where I'm like really upset at myself. And I'd be like, they killed 4 giant bats, no problem, and I nearly got killed by a fucking clam. Oh my god. What am I doing with my life?
I'll just not necessarily believe them to myself.
Maybe
'Cause I'm normally a distrustful person.
Meta.
maybe
my-
now that we've gotten some rest under our belts, we can go back under that goddamn tree and see about this treasure. What do you say?
agreed, and let's take a path through the unexplored wilderness in case we find anything else interesting.
I love your thirst for adventure.
To die would be a great adventure.
Okay, so you all make your camp there once more and eat, refresh yourselves, get some sleep.
Sure.
The night is cool, and it's actually pretty windy this night. Otherwise, nothing disturbs your camp. You awaken the next day, and the winds have died down, but it's still a bit of a cold spring day.
This is the longest fog I've ever encountered.
Yeah, it is. It shows no sign of abating. So you all are about here. Magos proposed cutting inland. So can you give me a general idea, or are you just going to meander? Do you want to just cut a straight line through?
Yeah, just kind of cut a curve that leads to the left a little bit and straight up to the tree. Or,
You lead us in a curly queue.
Yeah.
So you're going to take an arcing path like such?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a tree.
It is a tree.
Any crows?
It is a tree indeed. Okay.
This one looks more decrepit.
I think it looks more like an ent, personally.
Please don't say that.
Okay.
We got tree bird over here.
You come across another tree. Let's see. The one with the crows was living. It had leaves. The one with the root dungeon underneath, that one was gargantuan, and it was leafless. This one is about halfway in between life and death. It is very, very gnarly. It's a very gnarled tree, and it's a large tree. It's definitely not the giant that the one with the root dungeon is, but it's still substantially larger than the majority of the other trees. It's also not an evergreen like a lot of the trees are in this area. It's a broadleaf, and you don't notice any hollows in it or anything unusual. Do you want to do anything here, or do you want to keep moving?
If it doesn't really have anything interesting about it, I don't really want to take a look at it.
Nothing immediately jumps out at you.
Then yeah, I think we should press on, because I think there's more interesting things in this big tree that we've been in.
Pressing on?
Like before, I kind of make note of it on the map that I have, just so that we can always have our bearings and get a little less lost each time.
As a gamer, I want to investigate it, but I think Alex just wouldn't give two shits about it.
Okay. So no one makes too much of this tree and continues on. It is not far away, or you have not walked very far, when you come upon a ruin atop a hill. We'll say at the moment you are still standing down at the base of this hill. It raises up. It's kind of a large, lower hill. It's not really too precarious by any means. But you see this stony ruin. There are stone-hewn blocks and columns and bits of wall and roof. It's not a spacious ruin. It's pretty compact, and it's not utterly demolished. Large sections of it are still standing. You're not quite sure what it was. It doesn't look like it was actually a building in terms of like a temple or a manor or any of those sorts of enclosures. It looks like it was more an open air section with like a stony base platform and some stairs and some pillared sections. Yeah, so that's what you see kind of looking up there at the top of this large hill.
Gentlemen, shall we take a brief detour?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
I have no objections.
Magos, are you still taking the lead?
I guess I have been taking the lead this whole time. Just assuming I'm just taking a long shot here. Maybe there's something strange about this ruin, based on the other places we've been. Just spitballing here.
Could be.
All right, so your party approaches with you in the lead, Magos, and you go among these large cut standing stones, and when you are within the perimeter of these standing stones, you are on stony ground, like it has a foundation, a base, large stone platform. In the center of the area within, you see a table, and at a glance, this is a table with a feast laid out, and there are 4 people seated at this feast, though they are motionless. There is a bald, obese man. There's an elderly woman with wispy gray hair and a tattered dress. The third person wears a strange robe that is not of this land and actually wears a mask, a lacquered, grinning mask over his face. The fourth person is stranger still, Anyone familiar with the even most basic mythology of the land would identify this as a satyr, a man with goat-like traits, a stubbled chin. One of his horns is broken.
Magos would immediately put his arms out to stop his comrades as soon as he sees this, and I'm sure they see this as well. We have a problem. 'Tis a satyr.
I kind of stop and just look over Magos' shoulder. I'm like, what the hell is that?
'Tis a satyr, a magical being from the Fey world.
Has Pollock ever seen anything like this?
No, I doubt anyone has. And the legends and stories of the land tell of satyrs being hedonistic revelers that will lure mortals into wooded groves and woodland areas to cavort and take part in their bacchanals.
I've never heard of a satyr, so that's what that role was for.
Okay, so to you, you see a man, a fairly hairy man with these goat-like legs and these horns coming out of his head, and the one horn is fully, it's like half broken off. Everyone seated here is absolutely still, almost like they're frozen.
I don't know what foul sorcery is at play here.
Well, being that you're the only one who has any real partition of magic, other than my silly little parlor tricks, care to let us know if you have anything that could...
I could either burn them, or I could attempt to read their minds.
Well, maybe they're not dead. They seem to still be intact with their flesh. More so than that man in the cave.
Indeed. All right, wait here. Spot me, and I.
Yeah, I'll grab out my bow and ready to loose an arrow if something attacks him.
I say, spot me in for a lunge.
Oh, crap. It's Tuesday.
Anyways, so you're seeing this feast table. We'll call it across the room. It's it's open air, but you see it across the way. And Magos, you approach. As you get closer, you see that the food on the table looks like it's been sitting there a little bit too long, and it's starting to spoil. And you also see some cobwebs upon the table. Even some cobwebs are starting to form from the table, stringing onto like the knees and garments of people that are seated there. You approach, and they all just remain still, just kind of staring straight ahead at this bizarre feast table.
At this very moment, Magos pulls out his handy-dandy spellbook, flips to a certain page, and he can't. I guess I'm not going to cast this as a ritual for time's sake, but I'm going to be casting Detect Magic as I utter some.
Okay, so you're kind of standing back a little ways?
Yes, but close enough, within 5 or 10 feet of them.
Okay. So you're a little bit closer. The only other detail that I would mention is that that man, the obese one, something in the texture of his skin seems a little bit strange. It doesn't quite hang on him the way that it does on a normal person. Or, I'm sorry, the way that it does normally.
Okay. With Detect Magic, within the sense of 30 feet, I sense magic. I personally see a faint aura around any visible creature that bears magic. And I can learn about its school of magic. So what do I see if I see anything?
You do detect there is certainly a magic infused in this area. In terms of school, let's see here. Evocation, no. Illusion, no. Necromancy, enchantment, what else do we have? Conjuration, no. Transmutation. Did I miss anything? Divination. Okay.
They saw too far into the future, and now they've frozen.
Let's say that you sense transmutation, enchantment. Yeah, those two.
Excellent. With that being said, I gain a basic understanding that there's certainly magic work involved here.
Mm-hmm.
I walk up to the fat, obese man. That was really redundant, and I would like to put a hand on his shoulder.
Just as your hand is reaching out, basically as soon as you approach him, he speaks and he says, "I hunger."
I don't touch him, actually.
Are you still touching him?
I touch him. I look back at my comrades, and with like a oh shit face, and I touch him.
He is gnashing his teeth, and as your hand gets close enough, he looks like he wants to bite, like eat your hand. Make a sleight of hand check. Or, sorry, let's not do that. Do dexterity saving throw.
16.
Okay. He does not bite you.
Do I see it try to bite him?
You do see it.
I
He repeats, "Hunger. I hunger."
do you want? Should I do it?
Magos says no, and I just back up real quickly.
He looked like he was trying to eat you.
Yes, he was.
Magos, there is another detail. Sorry. Beg your pardon, I forgot this. When you got up close, you noticed this. In front of the obese man, there is an empty plate on the table. In front of the elderly woman, there is a small painting, like a portrait on just a real basic piece of wood or a tablet, but it's shattered. In front of the man wearing this strange, frightening, grinning mask, there is a set of cards, a set of gambling cards. In front of the satyr with the half-broken horn, there is an empty cup.
I sense a puzzle. I have a quick reaction, and I attempt to get closer to the other people at the table and see what they do, if they do anything.
Going around the table, they do each speak a phrase. The elderly woman with the wispy hair and the tattered dress and the shattered portrait before her. "I'm so lonely. Please." The masked one says, "I long for the games." And the satyr with the empty cup, grinning, says, "I thirst."
Do I see maybe any ale or anything like that, maybe in a pitcher or something nearby?
There is a basic ewer on the table which contains a red wine.
What were you saying, Alex?
I was gonna say, did we hear any of this?
I'm sure you're all close enough to have heard it. Maybe you didn't quite make out every little detail. Some were louder than others, but more or less.
Can I reach onto the table without anybody attacking me?
I don't know, can you?
Well, I would like to try.
Okay. You're grabbing the wine?
I actually try to grab some food, and try to put it on the fat man's plate.
Okay. You put the food on his plate and he becomes even more agitated. His body really is fairly motionless. It's just mainly his head, his mouth. You torture me! I'm so hungry!
What?
Make a history check.
They can't move their bodies, so we should feed them.
Oh, I'm an idiot. 22.
It strikes you. This man is afflicted with the Hollow Plague. It is a disease which has been slithering through the land for many a year. Those that suffer from this plague just are ravenously hungry, and no matter how much they eat, they never feel satisfied, and they just enlarge and enlarge. And along with their appetites, also there is a component of the psyche as well. Emotions feel less intense, and life just seems to not have the same vivid color, and people typically are known to begin engaging in more and more extreme acts of entertainment or pleasure or danger just to feel emotion again, and they swell up into these strange, bloated, obese bodies, and they eventually die a pretty horrible death. So that's what he has.
I'm pretty sure Cody dropped.
Yep. So and he was in the process of attempting to fill the cup.
He put food on the
Okay.
plate of the man. And the man, it seemed like he was unable to feed himself, and the food being that close to him was like torturing him.
I see. Okay, great. So I think Pollock would be completely, almost not entranced, but just looking at this older woman, and he's just having images of his grandmother, just kind of,
Calista.
yes, Calista, pass through his mind. Especially the cards are in front of her, and I think you said they were like gambling cards, playing cards.
In front of the woman is a shattered portrait that was painted on a tablet. In front of the masked man, there's a set of playing cards.
Okay, all right, never mind. Well, I am kind of just staring at her, just reminiscing.
Okay, and she herself has a very forlorn look upon her face.
Is it anything I've seen before in the kind of low world?
Oh, sure. I mean, you've seen people with broken spirits, and you've seen widows and people that really have just had long, hard lives. And she looks like she's just lost in her melancholy and in her memories.
Okay. Anyone else?
I am actually, Razvan is standing well back. He's still trying to grow accustomed to all these strange occurrences that have kind of bombarded him over the past couple days. And the satyr especially looks very strange. So I would kind of keep my distance and kind of survey the whole situation, like almost in a sense of being the lookout, almost, for if something starts to happen, I would want to be the first one to know so that I can be the first one to react, because that's kind of what my character's built around.
So Razvan's definitely staying back and remaining ever wary. Alexander?
I'm gonna stand back with my bow ready.
Okay. Stand back with bow and arrow in hand.
Okay, rewind, retcon. Razvan moves forward to the table, and he kind of looks at this man with the mask, and seeing as how these people aren't moving, no one's tried to attack Magos, even though he's actually touched one. I'll kind of lean a little forward and look at this mask. Do I see anything through the eye holes? Like, does it look like there's a person under it?
Okay, so it's a mask that is made of lacquered wood,
Hmm.
and it has pretty intense colors: crimson, burnt orange, dark mahogany type wood coloration, and the expression on it is as well pretty intense, with severe eyebrows and a pointed nose and this really wicked grin. And you look through the eye holes and you do see eyes of a person on the inside.
And they're just staring straight off, or do they kind of move around?
They twitch just a little bit, and he says, "I long for the game."
Is there a chair open next to him?
There's only 4 chairs. Each person is occupying one of them. Though he does make a little gesture with his hand. He kind of
Mhm.
gestures across the cards laid out in front of him.
Okay. And are they laid out in any particular fashion, or are they just like sitting in front of him?
You don't notice any sort of pattern to them.
Okay, I don't want to hog the limelight. I'll think on it. Anyone else doing anything?
I would actually move closer to the elderly woman and kind of get a closer look at the portrait and maybe tell her, I'm here for you.
I'm so lonely. Oh! She rocks back and forth, and she begins to weep and to wail.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Do I see anything on the portrait?
It looks like the portrait of a family. You can make out that much, but it is badly shattered. Though it sounds like you really are trying to console this woman. Make a persuasion check.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry about that, fellas.
No worries. Oh, that, my friends, is a 3.
She wails all the louder.
Bad friend.
You got me, Barker. I was like,
Get away from me! Get away from me!
Magos needs to intercede as quickly as possible because he realizes, my friends, these people have hollow plague.
Just the man.
Oh, just a man.
Just the one man.
Is it contagious?
I immediately step back when they say this. Like, is it?
I wouldn't touch them. At least a man.
Right, yep, and Pollock would kind of step back. Even though he's not in front of the man, he would still step back nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you think they're doing here? How long have they been here?
I don't know, but it's something magical, except for the obese man. The obese man has hollow plague, but the rest I cannot explain.
So Magos, you were doing something. You put food on the plate of the man, and he is in agony with the food so close to him, but he can't actually physically feed himself, and he's like to the point of like spitting and cursing at you and like demanding that you feed him and stop this torture.
As he's doing that, I hear all this, of course, because I'm close enough, right? So I will try to mage hand it up to him, some food,
Excellent.
because I don't want anybody to have to touch him.
The man gorges himself ravenously upon the food, wanting more and more and more,
Yeah,
until finally he goes calm. Anybody else?
Okay, so I would look at these cards and This guy has actually spoken at least once, so I would try to just talk straight to him, and I would say like, I love the games. What are we playing?
Good. He picks up this set of cards. He begins to shuffle them. Are you going to play with him?
I would love to.
Excellent. Okay, so he plays a common card game with you, known throughout Palagos and Typhorus. It's a pretty common game for this culture. Do you have proficiency with gaming sets?
I do.
Excellent. So you can add that in, and I'll give you a couple of suggestions, though. If you think of something else, you're always welcome. You can make an intelligence check to play this game strategically and intelligently as possible to try to beat your opponent, or you can use charisma to bluff and cheat.
How about... Those are both great options, but tooling back on how Razvan would look at the situation, I would be more interested in reading him.
Mm-hmm.
So would an insight check be good to call his bluffs and
Okay.
try to kind of counteract him? That's the
Mhm.
whole idea, is like, I'm not a very forge the trail, I'm more of a reactionary kind of person.
Sure. Make an insight check.
I shall try. That is an 18 plus 6, so 24.
Excellent. You play a few rounds of cards with this masked fellow, and he is quite the bluffer. And you see through it every single time, and you
I can imagine it
outmaneuver.
would be.
You outmaneuver and you outmatch and you outplay him, and you work around his bluffs, and you beat him every single time. And he says, "I have never met my match until you." And he folds his hand, literally his actual hands, he folds them across his belly, and he just kind of sits back, calm, waiting.
So, is it just me, or does he seem pleased, as if he out of the four is now satisfied? Perhaps we have to make sure we please all of these. And he looks at the satyr and says, creatures.
I would kind of turn back, and I still have a couple cards in my hand. I would say, I think you're right. He does seem happy.
And I mean, he doesn't seem happy, but he stopped eating.
That's
Pointing
true.
to the
Yeah,
large
that is
man.
true. The masked man and the one infected with the plague, both of them seem to be satiated.
Now we just need somebody to sleep with the old lady.
Magos?
He dropped.
Yep. Oh man, what timing! Why you gotta drop at that moment?
I know. Oh, man.
I can take one for the team. I would actually, if no one tries to stop me, I would kind of get up and I would look at these guys and kind of point at the satyr, like,
Mhm.
should I try to talk to him? Kind of gesture. Anybody? Nobody? Then I kind of shrug and make my way over towards him.
Very well. You approach the satyr. He grins, gives a little bit of a nod towards that empty cup. I thirst.
Don't we all?
He raises an eyebrow and gives you a bit of a twinkling glance.
I kind of look over the table, and I remember Magos earlier was pouring something that looked like wine.
There is wine. I think Magos only handled the food, but there is a ewer of red wine.
All right. I pick it up and I give it a smell. Does it smell like rancid, like it's been here too long, or does it smell fresh?
It smells drinkable.
And I would say to the satyr, "Will this do?"
He gives you a grin, and he nods.
And then I like pour it gently, like very dramatically, kind of pulling it up higher so that it pours for a longer time. And I fill his cup halfway up. And
The
then,
All right.
frequencies of the sound kind
Half
of
empty.
go higher and higher as it's filled, like
yeah.
drop, drop, drop. That's awesome.
And then
He
I
lifts his cup, downs the wine, and bursts into song.
I immediately, I love it.
What the hell is going on?
I would immediately jump back and I'd be startled for just a second, and then I'd
Join!
I'd
Join!
Yes, yes.
We, together! Make a perform check, Razvan.
Oh, good lord. Not my forte.
By the way, Magos is not sleeping with the old lady.
He might. You don't know.
Razvan, what languages do you speak?
I speak Palagosian and Thieves' Cant. I did not double check with you because it wasn't really stipulated in the campaign thing that you sent, but Typhorus just speaks Palagosian, correct?
Yes, that's the native tongue of Typhus.
So that's all I've got is a Palagosian and Thieves' Cant.
Sure. Okay. Whatever he's singing, it's not in one of those languages. Just tell you what your character's hearing. Go ahead and make your perform check.
Luckily, I did roll a 19 total.
Excellent. You join along with the satyr, and at one point he actually stands up, so animated from his chair, and he dances and prances about the table and about you, and yes, and then he is calm, and he sits again, smiling. He seems pleasant. He seems satisfied.
This jovial activity is such a far cry from what we've been doing, and more what I can imagine Typhus people would be like at a barbecue or whatever. You know, a lot of dancing and singing. Even though they're dour individuals, they know how to liven up.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I can nod to him.
Very good. Oh, I forgot. Pollock. You had interacted with the woman quite a bit there, but without bringing her consolation. And something from your engagement with her has been kind of settling into you, kind of this melancholy creeping into your heart, and I'm sure it's mixing with memories of your grandmother and of her sudden and shocking death. I'm going to give your character the despairing trait, and I'll leave that up to you to roleplay exactly how that's going to play out.
Excellent. I did cut out there for approximately 15 seconds, and all I heard was your grandmother's sudden death, and you're going to give me that trait. So it was just sorry.
Oh, okay. The interaction that you'd had with the weeping elderly woman at the table, that sort of disturbed you, and something
For sure.
from her kind of crept into your heart. This melancholy has been kind of creeping into you as this scene has been playing out, and you feel this despair taking up residence inside of you, at least for now.
Anybody could probably see that Pollock's hands are visibly shaking, and he goes to kind of reach towards this woman, and her wailing just scares him away, and he pulls back for a moment, and he says, Gran, is it you? And he begins to realize that for a moment, while he might have thought that this magical place might have somehow reinvigorated her, he's realizing that that's not the case, and it's just every other type of magic that he's been contact with that meets you halfway, but you can't. It doesn't allow you to meet it halfway. So,
well said.
and he his eyes begin shedding tears, and he kind of falls down to one knee, and his arm is rested on this table in front of her, and he begins to weep.
I will go over to him and say, "Friend, come with me. You need some rest. I'm sure you were up all night." And I will try to get him to get up and get out of here.
Razvan,
Pollock, grief is overwhelming you. Your ally he's reaching out. How do you react to that?
He probably wouldn't hear you at first, but he might come to and start speaking what sound like syllables, and they might be words, but very difficult.
I turn to Lagos and say, "Was that for Lorange?"
I love it. Is that for a launch? Razvan, just
I get all the jokes. Why didn't I get that joke?
really quickly, Razvan would kind of look over as he starts to cry, and I have to ask, I saw his grandmother meet her untimely end, and it's kind of stuck with me as well.
Have you guys put those together? Do you guys?
No,
have your
I have not.
characters?
I have not brought it up at all.
No.
When he first mentioned that his grandmother had passed, I raised an eyebrow, but that was absolutely it. But she did have some identifying features, specifically her hair color, and I did get a very good look at her face. I would not look at... oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Barker, what's your character's name?
Pollock.
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 Sorry. I have it written down right there. I don't know why I didn't look. Would I be able to look at Pollock and see any resemblance at all?
Pollock?
I would say
I'll leave that up to you.
absolutely not, because Pollock always took after his father's side. In physical features. But there are strands of graying hair, like silvery gray in his hair along the sides, almost like Peter Baelish type of things going on, but very subtle, that might lead you to believe that there's some sort of relation, but that would be it.
Okay, well, given the circumstances right now, I think that Razvan might think it, but then dismiss it. Like no. But seeing that old woman being hurt and beaten, he would kind of get that same pang at hearing this wailing. But he doesn't say anything.
Okay. Do you do anything? Pollock could try to console her. Do you feel compelled to do that?
I would very much feel that same thing, especially when Alexander kind of ushers Pollock away from the table, and Magos is kind of looking over the feast and seeing this fat man, and I would kind of go to this older woman, and I would say, "Why are you so lonely?"
She tries to respond, but her words catch in her throat, and her crying and her wailing prevent her from forming much in the way of coherence, but the emotional communication of it all is very powerful. And she wails and she trembles, and she glances down at this shattered portrait on the table. If you'd like to try to console her, you're welcome to make a persuasion check or something else if you have a different idea.
First, as I look, I'm sorry. First, I would look at this portrait that's smashed,
Hmm.
And does it seem like the pieces are fitted together and it's just broken apart, or are they kind of scattered?
They're somewhat scattered. It doesn't look like she has attempted to piece it back together like a puzzle or anything.
I wouldn't say that I would meticulously do it, but I would kind of take any of the bigger pieces and move them together and try to see if I could get an image of what this person might have looked like, just really quickly after I try to console her at the very beginning.
Very well. Make an intelligence check.
That is not my forte, but I shall try.
It's okay. I don't. It's
a
not
16.
it's not shattered into tiny bits or anything.
That
16.
is a
Yeah.
16, yes.
Okay. You have no trouble at all, and you piece it. You move the pieces around, and you get it pretty much right together. And it is a portrait of a family, man and woman, 4 children, and as well with that check, you readily identify that the mother in this portrait is the woman herself, albeit at a younger age.
That does resonate with me more than anything else that's happened at the table.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of family and the family being torn apart.
Mm-hmm.
How far I've went to try and, keep my family together as best as I could.
Mm.
Has anybody spoken to the masked man?
Yes.
Yep. The gambler is satisfied. Razvan outplayed him quite well.
The idea is that we've come up with. I'm not sure how long you've been out, Cody, but is that you satisfied the man's hunger by feeding him, satisfied the gambler's, the masked man's wanting to play a game by actually playing with him, and the satyr seems satisfied after the drink. I think
The drink and the song.
the drink and the song.
Very good. So I would assume that we've kind of... are they moving?
The only one who is moving at the moment is the elderly woman, and it's not, it's not bombastic movements. It's just more weeping and some trembling. And Razvan is, I believe, getting ready to make a skill check to try to console her.
I would very much like to.
Okay.
So I lean forward, almost beside myself. I would lean forward, put one hand behind her back, and kind of put my chin on her shoulder and tell her that I'm sorry. And what would you like me to roll?
Persuasion.
It appears that I don't have many fortes, but I will try. Come luck. Yes. 19 again.
Ooh. Very good. So that's absolutely gonna succeed. Do you want to describe? It's up to you.
I kind of say I'm sorry, and I kind of pull her close like she was my own grandmother, and just for one solid moment, I kind of forget where I am and what I'm doing, and just feel the embrace a little bit,
Okay.
and then I come back to.
Okay, that's really good. She embraces you as well, and for a moment there, she's crying softly upon your shoulder, and then her weeping quiets down, and she calms, and she pulls back just a little bit, and she looks you into your eyes, and she thanks you. Thank you, thank you. And her voice even gets quieter and quieter, and she just goes into a it doesn't look like a happy peacefulness, but a tranquility comes over her. And each of the 4 characters at this point, they all look satisfied in their own way. They each draw from under a garment or from a pocket or a pouch. They each draw part of a coin, one quarter of a coin, and they each set it flat on the table, and push it forward, and they each push their quarter of the coin until they all four pieces meet together and form the single coin, and it's an octagonal coin made of gold. And they don't say anything, but they all turn their heads and they all look at Razvan. And the coin is just sitting there waiting to be taken.
My eyebrows raise, and I turn and look at these three, and they're kind of looking at me, and I just slowly take it off the table from between their hands.
You pick it up. It's, like I said, it's a big coin. It's about the size of your entire palm, not quite, but about that size. An 8-sided coin, 8 edges. It's octagonal in shape. The one side of the coin has the image of a crow. The other side has the image of a statue of a woman holding a staff, and there is a bird perched on her shoulder. In addition, I will grant Razvan inspiration for being a pivotal character in the scene as well. I think your scene trekking back to the cave alone was pretty interesting.
Thank you very much.
And each character gains 150 experience points.
Yahoo!
Nice.
Sweet.
3,380.
That's a year far in the future. 3,300 AD. Get it? That's a stupid joke.
goodness.
Oh, you're so crazy. Crazy, man.
I am. Yes.
I want to remove the mask from the gambler.
I'm gonna punch.
The gambler he jerks his head back as you do that, and goes to kind of swat your hand. I would not do that.
Yeah, they're not dead.
Do it anyway, Magos.
Mago says, if you don't remove the mask, I will burn you to a crisp.
I would attempt my very best. Now, Razvan is slightly afraid of Magos. I will admit that. But I would kind of try my best to it's okay. We can go. We don't need to take his mask. Look, and I'd get his attention with this giant coin. What do you think this means? And try to get his attention off of this man and more onto what it was that we just earned together.
So he threatens to burn the man.
I look at the coin and I say, well, it's got some sort of magical importance, that's for sure.
I have absolutely no knowledge of magic, but I think this has to be important. These crows, they keep appearing everywhere.
Yes, but I want to know what's behind that damn mask.
It is a person, my friend. It is a person.
It might not be.
Look in his eyes. I do not want them to suffer. They seem to be trapped here. And I do not think that we need test our luck any further than we have already.
I'm gonna... With what he's saying, I've kind of gotten curious also. I'm gonna look to Lagos and I'm going to kind of just point to my hand where the burn mark is, or not the burn mark, but the symbol, and look questioningly.
Are you looking at me as if I could answer a question about your palm?
We had already discussed what the symbol on his hand was. It was where he casts...
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't... Magos gives you a wink.
All right. I'm gonna do it.
Go for it. You're using your mage hand to try to pull the mask off the gambler.
Yep.
Okay. You pull with your ghostly spectral appendage, and he resists holding trying to hold the mask on with his own hands. This spell can, you said it can like haul up to 10 pounds, is that right?
10 pounds is it?
Okay, yeah, you don't get the mask off.
Yeah.
He also said, he looks right at you while you're doing that, and he says, You will regret it.
I say you can't kill a man for being curious. I mean, you can, but what would the point be?
Any further attempts, or...
I want to burn this motherfucker alive. I really do. I'm not gonna.
You want to, or you are trying to?
I think he disappeared.
Yeah, I think he cut out, so I don't think we'll ever know. So I think we'll decide. Oh, damn it, he's back.
Oh no, I'm here. Razvan, why don't you try to attempt to persuade me not to?
I would love to persuade you not to.
And I think Pollock, and if Pollock is on your side, to go ahead and let him. If he says yes, give you inspiration.
Pollock is on your side, Magos.
Damn it.
Pull it off.
Why? Why me? This guy played a good game. I beat him at cards. I would be like, never push a gambler. Trust me.
I'll look at Razvan and I'll say, you can't not be interested in seeing what's under that mask.
Let me ask a question. This person, and I'll point to the man with the mask, and I can imagine he would kind of creakily look at me, is a person with a mask. That person, and you'd all look over, and there's a half goat man who has just jumped up and danced.
There's no mystery to it, though. We see him for what he is.
Alex is the
That's
knight.
the point. There has to be a reason that he wants to wear a mask.
I can imagine for gambling, it's hard to read a man when you can't see his face. Each of you has a secret, do you not? I know I do.
Yes, I do as well.
Maybe his is under the mask. I would not want my secret to be pulled away from me forcibly. I cannot stop you. I will not stop you. I can just say my piece, and then I kind of back up a little bit.
You know what? If I pull his mask off and I lose my soul, I don't think it would be worth it.
You're right. Let's continue.
Yes, let's skip to the tree. We have more pressing matters.
Okay.
Like, I kind of clap their backs and I say, like 200 gold coins.
The clapping is for JB, by the way. Very, very good.
Thank you very much.
Indeed.
No.
I thought it was okay.
It's okay. No.
Yes.
Oh,
You don't have to. No.
I gave it a 5 out of 10.
7.8 out of 10. Too much water.
Yeah.
All right.
So good.
So what are you guys doing now?
Head to the tree.
Back up to the root cave?
Yes.
Okay.
The scary place with the frog? Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You pass through a rather grassy field, but you don't really spend too much time wandering around there, and you end up back here at this ancient, colossal tree with the entrance dropping down into the muddy den beneath. And here we are. Okay. Do we still have Magos taking the lead?
I believe so.
Okay.
The stench. This is the same place we were before, correct?
It is, yes.
The stench of this place is still palpable.
Oh yeah. especially considering that you left a dead
Frog.
giant toad and a dead woman.
It could also be gas, but
It's
we
not
have
to
not
be
bathed.
terrible.
Oh yeah, and all those spiders and shit.
Yeah, it's a combination of things.
Okay, guys, let me know what you're doing.
Okay, let's go back to that chamber with the hole in it that was past the thorny chamber.
Yeah, through the
Okay.
roots, right where we lost Barker before.
This is gonna take forever. We gotta crouch back through there.
No, you chopped your way through, remember?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That
so
was
it's
fun.
take 10 seconds.
Yeah, so Pollock or Barker, since you unfortunately dropped out with your technical difficulties last time, they went through here, and it was either Alex or Razvan was able to hack a path through, cutting through these really, really thick entanglement of roots, and the path is going in and up here to this little sloping tunnel. No one has gone this way, and no one has cleared any path this way. Magos had a moment where he had some visions at the center of this root chamber that were, personal to him and what's going on with his character. There was something related to you as well. Unfortunately, you were dropped out, so I'm going to give you that now.
Say that last part again. You cut out. Sorry. I heard I'm going to give you that now.
Yeah, your character as well experienced something while you were in the midst of all these roots, but since you yourself weren't here, I was just holding on to it for when we came back.
Okay, great. So you'll tell me that?
Yes. Okay, that's as much as everyone had seen last time before backing out. You guys can see that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, we got to the door, didn't we? And
Yes.
I threw a rock down the hole. What's with me and rocks?
You rock, dude.
You rock. Done. What?
No, it's this symbol instead.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, no, it's this one. That's what I thought you were doing at first, and I was like, no, that's the wrong one. Oh.
Okay, give me just a second here.
I kid. Very much kidding.
Okay, here we are. So, Pollock, as you find yourself in the middle of this root chamber, there is a moment where you feel really everyone feels the same thing. There's a tingling sensation, hairs raise on the back of your neck. There's just some eerie moment. Magos had some visions while he was here. Razvan and Alexander didn't actually have anything to that extent. Pollock, you do have a vision, and in your mind's eye, you see these roots, or maybe they're almost like snakes or like a hydra, and you see them, snaking, worming, slinking, burrowing. You almost feel like you are in the midst of a large nest of these worming things, and then it almost looks like a brain. That all fades pretty quickly, though, and that image is replaced by this huge jut, this large stony column, this almost like a giant fist of stone raising from the ocean, grasping this giant in its hands. So it's this colossal, titanic, stony fist grasping what looks like a giant, though it has fish-like traits as well, tail and fins and scales, colors of the sea, and it clutches it so tight and time passes that it turns into this jutting aisle. It hardly even resembles a fist and a humanoid being anymore, and you feel yourself being flung toward it just as you had seen before while you stared into the flames. And there is this door and or just like a stone slab, and engraved in the middle of it is a triangle inside of a rectangle inside of a pentagon. And again, there's this sensation of being flung, and the image changes again rapidly, and you see of a man, a Vaitian soldier, and he is in it looks sort of like a stable room, but not out in the main area where most of the horses are kept. It's like a back room, or maybe even a cellar of a stable. And he has his horse, but it is tethered. The horse is completely tied up by every limb, and it is bound. And his helmet and his mantle, they're all put aside. And this soldier is torturing this horse, and he is making notes as he does this, and it's a pretty gory scene, and this horse is crying and shouting and trying to buck, but it's bound tight. And this man just goes about this sadistic torture process, noting out what he observes, and then everything just seems to freeze, and then time seems to reverse and go backwards until you're outside in a busy marketplace street in Vitus, and you see your grandmother, and you see her slitting this horse's throat, and then that's it. The visions just end right there, and you're just among these roots, almost like they're almost grabbing you is how it feels.
I would assume that, unbeknownst to me, while this vision was happening, I might have been, looking through people and kind of backing against roots and fighting my way through them, just unknowingly, unless you wanted this to happen just instantly.
Time is a funny thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how to answer it, but I guess to you it felt like you were seeing all those sequences in real time, normal time.
Okay. Well, actually, I like the idea of it being instantaneous. I also like the idea of there being some sort of physical thing that someone can notice about me when I receive something like this, and I'm going to make it falling over.
Okay.
And so all of you would see Pollock fall over, and when he comes to, he would explain what he saw, but he would seem a little self-conscious about it, like, this is, we all know this is bullshit, right? I don't know. It could have been anything. It could have been, the mead that I didn't have, but it could be this.
I tripped on a root.
Yeah, I tripped on a root. I must have hit my head and something like that. But I explain it to everybody.
But you would look at all of them, and they would just be like, and then you'd turn to look at Razvan, and his mouth would be open, just like looking at you, and he would be like, the horse, right? You said that was your grandmother?
Yes.
Yes. It cannot be a coincidence. I saw that happen before we left.
You received the same vision that I just had?
No, your mother. And then I would describe exactly what she looked like. Not the scene that I saw her in, because that'd be some jarring shit. But like the ashen color hair, the like bluish robes that she was wearing, where she was on the street. And I'd be like, that is the woman, right?
I would, and I'm kind of making this up as I go, but I would hold up my sword, and I would take off what looks to be this purple, matted, gross, disgusting wristband, almost like a bracelet, but made out of cloth. And I would ask you if she had this on her left wrist, because I would know that I had taken this one piece of cloth and turned it into two and given her one as a gift.
Let me see here. Sorry.
You got a pretty good look at her, so I imagine you saw it.
Yeah, I have. I wanted to make sure that my character was that detail oriented. Yeah, I have solid notes written down, so Razvan would be like, "Yes, it was a little big on her. It hang down to her knuckles almost."
Yes.
And Razvan, since we're on to this, and we'll just say you're here now, passing through this root chamber, right now exactly. This memory is coming back to you very vividly of this scene you saw on the street. And as well, you have a memory of your sister. And if I'll kind of leave that up to you, what exactly that is, but there's some sort of memory, maybe one that you hadn't thought about in a long time. Maybe it's a recent one, but it's more intense. Maybe it's one you've forgotten and it has resurfaced, but it is definitely about her.
It would be the first time that I saw her in the brothel once I came to Polygos. Something that I had pushed back in my mind, and to have it come forward, seeing her dressed the way that she was, seeing the men ogle her the way that they were, how sickening it was. And
very disturbing. Did she notice you noticing her?
She looked up at the last moment, right before I turned to leave. I didn't think that it would actually be true. And when she looked up and I saw her green eyes, the same eyes that I share with her, I thought that I would be sick right in the middle of the brothel.
Yeah.
Your sister is at a Typherian brothel or a Palagosian brothel?
The same brothel you frequented in the city of Vitus. And I kind of trail off. But I'd shake it off and I'd be like, I've had my mind played with enough over the past couple days that I would realize that it's just something in here. And I'd be like, I'm tired of these. I'm tired of this mind game. I don't know what this is. I do not like it. But yes. And I would put a hand on his shoulder and I'd be like, I'm so sorry about your grandmother. I did not know her. I did not know, or I would have said something sooner, Pollock. I did not know.
It is, you have nothing to apologize for. I mean, he clears his throat out as if trying to get some amount of moisture inside of it. And he kind of brings himself to his feet by grabbing onto these roots, pulling himself up, and his face looking a little green, he manages to croak out the words, I think we should keep moving.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So you all steady yourselves, you brace up, and you descend down to the next floor of the dungeon here. Okay. Magos, are you messing with this door here, or you want to go through the busted one at the far end of the corridor?
Oh, let's go through the busted one.
All right. No, you guys just let me know if you want to be positioned differently.
All right.
I would suggest we try to go through that little crack. Not the crack, but the...
The one in the floor?
No. Where the walls kind of turns into an entryway on our left. There's a stairway that we can't really see.
Right. Excuse me.
So Magos is suggesting to head up this way. Yes?
Yes.
Razvan would leave it to his expertise.
Okay, so it sounds like Magos is taking the lead and everyone's going along with him.
Definitely.
Magos, make a perception check.
That is a 6.
Ooh.
Okay.
We can't all be winners.
All right. Get ready for it, Magos.
Esper, did you just say that?
Yes,
Yep.
it is.
That's the worst thing to hear a
That
DM
is
say.
the absolute worst thing.
Get ready.
That's
Hold on to
the
your
second worst
buttholes.
thing.
19 to hit.
That's a hit. I mean, I'm a wizard, for God's sake. So. No, my magical plate mail.
There is an intense pain that just tears right into your left leg, and obviously you immediately, look and see in there from this pit are these kind of stony, ochreish colored tentacles wrapping around your leg, and they have like barbed claws on the end of them. You take 11 points of slashing damage.
Son of a bitch. I shriek in pain.
Oh, snap.
Roll for initiative.
Ugh. That is a natural 20.
I got a 13. I'll post it in the chat.
20, so that's a 25.
I got a 6.
25.
25, Alex. 25 for Alex.
Yes.
Yes,
Sorry.
Angel or
Sorry. Yes.
All right,
25
who's
for
after
Alex.
that?
Bueller.
Razvan. Razvan with a 21.
21, Razvan. Okay. Next.
Magos with a 13.
Uh-huh. Pollock.
Pollock with a 6. The fighter with a 6.
Yeah.
Nick-
Alexander, you get to act. What do you want to do? There's
now-
some tentacled thing that just sprang out of this little burrow, this little
Now-
tunnel here, and is ahead.
Question. My assassinate skill says anyone that hasn't attacked in combat yet.
You do get combat advantage on anyone who has not acted.
Yeah. Does that?
So this guy absolutely has acted. He has attacked your friend.
in combat though, because we just rolled initiative. I was curious if you were rolling that way.
He makes a good point.
Denied.
All right.
You are not assassinating the thing that just ambushed
But-
you guys.
But it is.
Makes sense.
It
It
is.
is in melee, so you do get sneak attack.
However, he does get advantage because Magos is in distress. I believe that is a D&D official 5e errata. But I could be.
No, I get advantage because he is in combat with something else.
You don't
Excellent.
get advantage.
Act fast.
You just get sneak attack.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so that's my other attack's probably not gonna do better than that one. That one didn't land on anything, so yeah, it definitely didn't. 17 plus my bonuses, which are dexterity, so that's a 5.
Hit.
All right. Haven't done combat today, so I didn't have my dice ready for it. I'm sorry.
All this darn role-playing.
I know, right?
These nerds over here. I just want to kill things.
I read. So that's 11 plus my sneak attack damage is that's 19. No, 19. 19 damage.
All right. Your arrow strikes the creature, though something about its thick hide repels part of that attack. The creature once again attempts to prey upon Magos right here. Okay.
This might be my last session. I might die.
Oh,
I have 7 hit points, so.
You know, it'd be
Well,
perfect.
the tentacles are upon you, and they attempt to attack you once more. But you manage to elude them in whatever fashion. You defend yourself well. Razvan.
Marker, what were you saying? You were saying it'd be perfect if...
Oh, I
I
was
was
saying, well, it's perfect.
I was saying it'd be perfect when you die, you lag out immediately.
Oh, well, that drop.
That
And he
would-
falls down the well.
All right. Now I'm not brought up on tentacle lore, but
I
I would like to, if possible, considering my current position, use my bonus action to try and hide. Is that at all possible?
Yeah, we'll just say that you're using this this doorway here to get
Mhm.
some cover and do some hiding maneuvers. So go ahead.
We can role play it like as soon as it came out of the ground and I saw it, I would duck out of the way to load my crossbow, and then I would
Okay.
come through the doorway and fire. So I will roll the stealth.
Yep.
That's a 19 total.
Advantage to you.
Fantastic. I will come around the corner and take very precise aim. It's very risky, but I'll use sharpshooter since I have advantage. All right, the highest roll is a 19.
Excellent. That is a hit, and hopefully Pollock is kind of ducking down there.
Yeah, you'd have a bolt whiz past your head. But
I would
that's
say I would not be ducking, but does it whiz past my head or does it hit me?
Oh, it doesn't hit you.
Okay, but
Not this time.
not
hear the
Had
hear
he
the-
rolled a 1, it totally would have, though.
yep.
that patented sound as it goes by your head. This is going to be pretty serious damage. Don't judge me. I'm sorry. 19, 25. That's 30 points of damage.
The thing lets out a horrible shriek as your bolt just like plants right into its wormy body, and this kind of greenish, slimy blood pusses out. And it just continues kind of flailing and making this horrid shrieking sound. Magos.
I run right behind that wall on the other side there.
Over here?
Yes, in a fashion similar to Razvan, if you kind of catch my drift,
Okay.
with a little bit of cover.
Okay.
Okay. I was like,
So I'm gonna
how
put
do I run?
you, like there?
No, the other. Oh God, no. To the left.
Oh, God, no.
There?
Yes, that's good.
Okay. Normally that would provoke an opportunity attack, but I'm going to say that thing is in so much like overwhelming, stunning pain from getting blasted out of nowhere that it doesn't even have an opportunity to do that.
The gods are merciful.
Pollock.
Excellent. Pollock is going to do what he knows best and go to the most threatening thing near him and try to chop it off. Probably a tentacle.
Crap.
Swing away.
Swing away, Meryl. All right.
Baseball.
What?
don't-
Was that a League of Their Own mixed with signs? I feel like someone just died out there, like a unicorn just passed away. That was an 11.
That was the strangest thing ever.
You do not strike the flailing tentacled beast before you.
May I use my action surge
Absolutely.
and do it big a second time as my sword kind of bounces off of this creation and kind of swinging back around, and that's a 21.
That's a
Your
hit.
sword slashes and hacks right through one of the tentacles, and just it goes flinging off to the side messily. In fact, the blow has so much force it like it cleaves through half of this thing's beak-like mouth, and it shrieks its last and just kind of slumps down like a dead worm.
Wow. Wow. Pollock is gonna just like all of a sudden you see him just like get a couple inches taller. Like his shoulders are a little more broad. The spark is, he smiles and you see like a sparkle on his teeth.
I love it.
Magos motions for his companions to run over to his side. Quick!
Magos, make a perception check.
Oh my lord. 10.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you exactly got it. Okay, you just out of the corner of your eye, you happen to notice something, and then you do like a double take thing, and you look back, and there is some kind of monstrosity. It's the large, the bulk of its body is just a brain, and it also has a beak-like mouth, and as well it has these tentacled things, these barbed tentacled things underneath it, though its proportions are a little bit different than the thing in the tunnel, and it is actually hovering down from some upper ledge, slowly creeping through the shadows and around, making its way towards you with these worming, snaking, barbed tentacled things that are underneath the base of its brain. You see no eyes on this creature.
What the fuck? I yelled to my comrades, I need help!
Okay. Okay, so it comes so close to you, but you notice it in time, and so it doesn't actually get any... Oh, wait, sorry. Woo woo. No, he doesn't. Because you move at like half your speed when you're using sneaking, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Alex.
Oh, can I not attack or anything?
It's not your turn yet.
Did
Oh,
he
yeah.
did he notify us of this thing?
Yeah, I
No.
did yell at you guys.
Okay.
As a
All right.
free-
Magos, you're yelling. What are you yelling?
I need help. There's a monster in here.
Can I get to just to where I can see it around the corner and use my cunning action to hide and get into like a sneakily position?
Yeah, sure. Make your stealth check.
All right. That is +7 is 21.
Okay. You do what you can to sneak up there. Then you pop around the corner with your bow and arrow, right?
Yes.
And like right as you're just taking aim, you see this thing, what I just described, this floating brain tentacle thing, just this nightmare thing that shouldn't even exist. It doesn't even have eyes. What are you doing?
Well then, I guess there's no point in sneaking, but
You still shooting?
what?
You're still shooting?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think that this thing is here to give us cupcakes, so...
All right, take your shot, but you do not have advantage.
All right. You see, here's the thing. 13.
You hit it.
Oh my gosh. So here's how little damage I'm going to do. That is 11.
11's better than nothing.
Yeah, but I kind of
Okay.
rely on the sneak attack.
Razvan.
All right.
I also
All you know is there's something over there, and
as a
Heard them
reaction, you
shout.
got to see this.
So I kind of come around the corner, SWAT team style, with the crossbow up, and I see Pollock standing there like, "Wah!" He just cut this fucking thing in half. I would. Oh, this is gonna seem like a dick move. I would run over to the tentacle that I shot, right in front of Pollock, and I would try to pull out my crossbow bolt. Because inside baseball, I'm down to 3, and that's
Okay.
pretty rough.
No, that's sure. I think your bolt actually like went right into the thing's hide, so right there in its body. So we'll give you that one. You pull it out.
Yeah, I put my foot on it, jerk the bolt out. I look at Pollock, and I'm like, go this way or this way for a second, and I stop, and I just slap him on the shoulder, and I go toward the right.
When you slap him, he's like snapped out of it. Like the smile disappears, and he would just follow you wherever you go. Probably.
Sounds good. Now I
So
can...
Razvan, you use your speed, but you still have your action.
Yes, I can use my cunning action to dash, and that
Okay.
will put my speed... Sorry, this thing's scrolling so slowly. That would put my speed at 60. So...
Yep. So that's there. You've everything there. You've covered 2 movements worth, and you still have your action.
30. Can I roll a perception check in this room, see if I see anything crazy?
Anything tentacly?
And since I'm going to use my
Um,
standard action to
you
do
can,
it,
you can use your action to do it because you've already
Yeah,
done some other stuff with your bolt and whatnot.
yeah, I don't want to run all the way through the room, considering, so I want to
Sure.
give this a good once over before we go through it.
Let's see. You're the one with the lantern, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Does anyone else have any light sources at the moment?
I'm about to.
My eyes, my elven eyes.
That
Okay.
is a 24.
Okay. Just to let you know,
20 on the
Magos, you're basically in blackness. There's a little bit of light feeding in through this entryway here, but all this over here is just going to be real shadowy. And just a really quick aside, I messed around for so long to try to come up with an illumination effect, so this whole thing could just be like a layer of black, and then whoever had a light source, I could have an illumination, and wherever I moved them, it would fade out the black. I couldn't get it to work, no matter what I tried.
I
So
can
maybe
imagine.
someday, oh man, I spent so much time. So maybe someday in the future.
That'd been
Nonetheless,
awesome.
it would have been. Oh man. So you don't notice anything, you don't notice any movement, you don't see anything hiding in these holes. This wall to, the way you're looking, this whole wall over here is just this collapsed wall. A lot of this section that you're in is constructed, it's stone blocks that was built up, but this wall here is all fallen in. Also with that perception check, you do notice that there's a little... like a little ledge or a little layer tucked away up there in the corner.
Okay.
You would have to climb up to get to it.
I
Okay.
think that's where this floaty thing lives.
That's absolutely perfect. So my turn's over.
Yes, Magos.
God's willing, I'm going to burn this thing into a crisp. I'm just going to cast a quick little firebolt. From my hands comes a small firebolt which illuminates the room briefly, and I hurl it at this monster.
Okay. Firebolt away.
That's a 7.
You're flying in the darkness. Unfortunately, without very good sight, you weren't able to strike the creature. Do you
Unfortunately.
want to move?
A little bit. I'm going to try to move behind Alexander, just behind him.
All right. And Pollock.
Yes, I am totally...
Oh wait, this
I
thing's gonna go for me.
I would follow Razvan.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, follow the light.
All right.
Whatever.
There's 15 feet. Keep going.
Yeah, I would try to kind of move into that room and see what I can do.
All right, that counts as 30 there.
And I'll wait for Razvan. So I'm just gonna. You know what?
Dodge,
Actually,
ready your sword.
yeah, I'll ready my sword for if anything comes around that rightmost corner.
Okay. Pollock goes into a stance, gripping his sword. Let's see here.
Make a big noise so it comes for you. That's the
Alexander.
kind of big noise I wanted to hear.
All right. Here is a tentacle attack. That's you. 13 to hit.
That is a miss.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. And this is a bite from the thing's beak. 22 probably gets you.
Very much gets me.
All right. It snaps you for 8 piercing damage.
Ugh. I'm allergic to damage.
Oh, snap.
Ha! Ugh. I'm gonna...
Alexander, it is your turn. Do you have a response to that?
Yeah, I'm gonna use a cunning action to back the fuck up.
Disengage.
Yeah.
Well, disengage is standard. Is it?
I can use a cunning action, though.
Okay. And does that move you?
Right.
It moves me 5 feet.
It moves you 5 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever. Let's put you like right there.
All right. Now I want I want to back up even more.
Okay, so that so just help me out. So that's like your thief action, and then you can do your regular movement speed, and then you'll have your normal action, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Disengage in 5th edition allows him to use all of his movement without provoking an attack of opportunity.
So it's like it's like an action to get
Yes.
into disengage mode,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're free to move
So
around.
he's ducking and dodging as his bonus action for the turn.
Okay, so in that case, you've only moved 5 feet of your speed, Alexander. You can keep moving.
Yeah, I'd like to move to... I don't want to leave Magos out in the open, but I need to be able to take a shot with my arrow.
Uh-huh.
Good luck, buddy.
All right, where are you going?
And I'm just going to go back 2 more spaces diagonally and take a shot at it.
Okay, so about there is probably where you want to be. And fire away.
All right. Oh my goodness, that is so much better. That is a critical hit.
That does sound better.
It's just slightly. So that's twice as much damage. But I only get to...
roll your weapon dice times 2.
Yeah, and then I only add the after effects once.
You just have the dexterity modifier once.
Yeah, so that's 5 plus 8, which is 13, I think.
Yes,
And
that's
then-
13.
And then 18 damage.
Excellent. Razvan.
So I would hear all this commotion coming behind me now, and it'd be so cool looking in this room because there's just a little bit of light filtering in past me, and then I turn and like drop the lantern, so the room starts to illuminate, and I just see this floating monstrosity.
I told you you had to see it.
Like the tentacles coming through the door. I don't see the brain part yet because I'm not at a good angle. But it most definitely can't see me where I am, so I'm going to try and get the drop on it like I'm prone to doing. And I will use my bonus action to hide. 26.
Okay.
And I would like to move southward 4 squares and then to the left until I can see it through the doorway.
Okay.
That's absolutely perfect. So I pop into its field of vision just in time to loose an arrow. That one's garbage, and that one's perfect. I did roll a natural 20, ladies and
High
gentlemen.
five.
Just real quick, you actually don't have the disadvantage.
Oh, don't have advantage?
I'm sorry, you don't have the advantage.
That's fine. Will you allow me to burn my inspiration point since I rolled both already? Or would you like me to
Go for
re-roll
it.
with
Go
inspiration?
for it. No, use it.
Sorry about that.
So what'd you get?
That
No,
is
no problem.
That is a natural 20.
Excellent.
Allow me
Wow.
to do
All
some
right.
math.
20.
Or 12,
Guys,
6.
Lagos and Pollock, what are you doing? I thought you were the fighters
Magos.
and the damage dealers.
I'm a role player, not a fighter.
That's 32 damage this time.
Wow. Okay. Your crossbow bolt nearly splits the thing's brain in half, and it just drops from where it's hovering with us.
I see this gross orb of the snapping maw. I'm like, oh my god, and just reactively shoot it.
Magos says, "Be cool, everybody. My mother just came for a visit."
I'm gonna. Is it dead?
It's very dead.
All right, good. I'm gonna loose an arrow into its brain just one more time, just to make sure, because this thing is. Ugh.
All right. You make it extra splattered. I award you each 288 experience points.
Oh,
And if we're out of initiative, Pollock would probably, after he just blasts this creature in the brain, splattering it all over, even though after it was dead, Pollock would probably say, "Shoot it again."
I'll say actually burn it.
Magos will land a firebolt on and try to burn it.
All right. You guys make an absolute mess of whatever this monstrosity was.
But first, I'll cut off a tentacle and put it in a vial.
I mean, I gotta say, your description of it was complete nightmare fuel. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would definitely say that's a good reaction to have.
How much experience did you say? 300 and what?
288.
Or 288.
I like the idea of Magos just kind of creeping out into the shadowy corridor, trying to get away from the first thing, and then something just like out of the corner of his eye, and he's like, "What was that?" And just this tentacle brain hovering down, like.
Let me tell you, I feel his pain.
Now, what is that creature called?
What the fuck?
What does your character think it's called?
Bird brain.
Brain horror.
This would probably be a good place to end because I know Barker is ready.
Oh yeah, do you want to pause here?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I know.